Hello, welcome back to the Ekstraklasa on Sports. Tonight it finished honours even between the title favourites Legia Warsaw and their great rivals Polonia, the underdogs playing on the counter-attack, getting a 1-1 draw. Just grateful when our transmission failed there. Apologies for that once more. We didn't see any goals, which last time we saw Legia score 3 goals, or 2 goals at least, while we were away. Bobby Brajak with me, our Polish football expert, alongside our betting expert for the night, Russ Wiseman, who's getting a handle on all things Polish football. Just a sense there, Russ, for people in-game betting towards the end, that Polonia, after looking a lot inventive and courageous on the counter-attack, perhaps just started to settle for that point. Interesting how the psychology affects things.
Yeah, definitely, Ed. And I mean, that's probably easier said than done, though, isn't it? They were the underdogs in the game. They were under pressure. They actually defended incredibly resolutely, with no fans in the stadium. I mean, this is a really good point, isn't it, for Polonia? The way they've approached the game, they've shown that they can face adversity, and I think that bodes very well for basically 14-1 shots to win the title. Could have been a lot worse for them, couldn't it? I think it's a triumph for them and a thoroughly deserved point in the end. What
about Jan Urban and Legia? They remain unbeaten. They got up to 11 points now, still behind the runaway leaders who are yet to play this weekend, Blissett, we won't talk too much about Blissett, outsiders, but they've started 100%. But Legia, Jan Urban, we happy? Fairly happy?
Well, I'm fairly happy with the quality of the match, but I'm gutted for another draw between these sides, because when you look at the stats now, it's
fourth draw in 5th seasons, isn't it? Which is 12-5 before the start of play.
Great value.
That's great value indeed. I mean, for him, I think eventually when he will look back, he will think this is a well-earned point, given how Polonia usually perform away from home. I regret that some of the players didn't have as much quality, because some of the chances that Kosecki or Salinas had, they should have buried at least 1 or 2 goals between each other.
Was that an injury? It was not an injury. Was that a problem for them in terms of who the chances fell to, as they say in football? Because we saw Jorge Salinas, the 20-year-old Paraguayan, blast one over. We saw Kosecki, the young midfielder, as well. You'd have wanted those chances for Leroy or Saganovsky. I
could imagine, if Leroy get one of these balls on his left foot, he would literally bury that in top corner, and we'll be still getting excited about the quality of that strike.
Yeah,
it's a pity, but still, I believe both teams played reasonably well. They were really open. I mean, they didn't fear of conceding. They wanted to score more, and this is what we enjoy watching.
Positive play from Poland tonight, Poland's capital, certainly, and it started very positive for the home side, dominating possessions, up to 72%, I think, the opening 28 minutes or so. A lot of shots on Polonia's goal, but it was the visitors who took the lead against the run of play, and it's kind of a move that really, I guess, personified exactly what they do and how they go about it, Polonia, because they swarm in midfield, win possession, and then counter-attack at a high pace.
Well, it started with one silly mistake from a young but really talented defensive midfielder, probably, as I said, the first mistake of his season, I'm afraid. And then they were cruel in terms of how they took the most of it, because how Piątek took the ball forward, he passed.
They outnumber Legia quickly, don't they? Here,
I mean, this is what was their main strength. Quick attack. Szołek, one of the stars of the season, 20-year-old, already in Poland setup. Then I like that semi-cross, really nice.
Well, Szołek as well turns up on the left here, but he started the game as a right midfielder. He has assist from the left, and his movements are danger for opponents.
Him and Brzysky, the way how they switch sides, it's something that reminds me a bit Robin and Duff, back at Chelsea, when they're switching sides to the confusion of
defenders. You see where your allegiance is like, aren't we, in England?
But that goal was absolutely impossible to predict, just because what you said there, the 72% possession, they were dominating the game. The betting market had shifted completely in favour of Legia. All of a sudden, one mistake, 1-0, makes it so difficult to bet for people. It's the unpredictability of this Ekstraklasa just shown there in that one clip there.
And perhaps it exposes a little bit of Legia's weaknesses. Why it might be worth opposing them perhaps in a title race.
Yeah.
They came back into the game quickly, though, didn't they? And Marek Saganovsky, the striker who used to play for Southampton, you might remember him in England, and he was integral again, but it was a long ball forward and seemed to be left in acres to set up the penalty opportunity.
Well, but again, I believe it's the credit should go to the striker, because he knew where to stand, he knew how to flick the ball even without looking at his teammate. Kosecki took the most of it, so there was a foul, but I don't really enjoy when the players overreact in terms of what has happened. But I think that's all about Saganovsky. This is, you pay for experience. You pay for someone who's done it so many times over and over again.
We can see it here, and we've seen Saganovsky's awareness with his head as well, because he just could, he doesn't even have to look. Kosecki flicks it, and then he's moving again, isn't he? Often. Pazio, the defender here, is the desperation.
We've seen it a couple of times that if Kosecki actually had that ball and continued, he would probably try to curve the ball into the far post. Pazio, who is that Polonia defender, as I said,
No doubts it's a penalty though, was it?
It is, of course, but the problem is that Pazio, as a youngster, big Legia fan now playing for Polonia, taken off at the halftime by the manager. I'm just saying.
We love a conspiracy theory, don't we?
He's a professional. He might have injured a Legia player in that rash challenge anyway, but it led to Daniel Leroy stepping up, and the Serbian, as we've seen already from this season, deadly from the spot, and it was so again, Russ Wiseman. This is what you like if you're betting on Leroy to score, perhaps.
Definitely, yes. But at this point here, when he smashes this penalty home, that really did spark off a frenzy.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to be with Legia at that point.
Well, it was key, wasn't it, for Polonia? You thought it needed to hang on for a few more minutes because they didn't have the lead for very long.
That's right. I mean, and we didn't really have time for the markets to even settle down. They were even money to win the game than Polonia. No real money traded at that stage. But when it went 1-1, everybody, without fail, really wanted to be with Legia. Big shift in the market, heavy odds on favourites. It looked then for that 10-minute period, though, we'd see goals galore, and it just didn't materialise that way. But the markets there got it wrong. They did think Legia would go on and win the game.
I mean, I think the pundits would actually get it right if only Kosecki and Salinas took their shooting boots, because I do see that coming, and they had some chances which they didn't.
Credit Legia, credit Polonia, sorry, for the fact that they lost the lead so quickly. You almost could expect them to crumble at that stage, but they didn't.
Well, but this is, these teams are famous for that. They know how to deal with it, and this is what you have to expect from them. I mean, that's why they title favourites. Unless you talk about Legia or Polonia, I think they also used to.
Well, that was Polonia's response to losing the lead. I thought was very good, because you thought at that stage, Legia, you said people with them massively.
They've got every right to cave in at that stage, and that's the way the punters saw it as well.
You know what it shows? It also shows the very good team spirit inside the side. It shows that everyone trusted each other, saying, "Okay, lads, we still can do it. We can still get a nice, good draw from that match."